Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Burning Hints Fantasy Football. I'm here with Scott and me, Matt, Hinty, and Burns, and we're going to go over basically just the past couple of weeks since our debacle post week two, and then we're going to go over just do a recap and how everyone's looking so far this year. So how you feeling, Hinty?
Uh, Not great, but not horrible.
Yeah, we're both in the same spot. Not too bad, but could be better. Do we want to go over trades first, or do you want to just go over the league standings?
Let's go over league standings first.
All right. So at first, for some reason, it's showing. Is he at 600? A 1 point difference between Greg and Kuzi for the number one spot. I feel like Kuzi's been the strongest team, but what do you think about these two guys leading the pack, and then also Zeldot, the new guy, 3-1-1.
Yeah, I think Kuzi's team has probably looked the best. But he's got some injuries going on right now, and we'll get to it. But he lost one of his best players in the bet,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll see how that turns out for him. And then Chris's team, I feel like it's just been he's had some pretty solid players that have turned out this year. Like the Clyde trade turned out for him. I think both of us were on the other side of that trade, but he's got Clyde, and Clyde's been playing well. And I mean, he'll get Swift back at some point. So this team's looking pretty solid too.
Yeah, you got the New England running back Stevenson, and just New England's running the ball well. Team solid. Not really like any huge weaknesses, and Jalen Hurts is having the season what a lot of people thought he was going to be having. All right. So right in the middle of the pack, we could mention Zach, but we'll also go to Zach in that trade in a minute. So we'll just wait and hold off on that. But we got people in the middle of the row. We got Alex, Nick P, Chris Smart, and then me, you, and Stein, and I think Snowball. Just sort of
Yeah,
around 500. Is anyone that strikes you as doing a little better than others? I mean, Alex's points for I think is the best in the league, so that's a little
yeah.
disappointing for him.
A little disappointing for him, but I'm sure that'll turn around. Honestly, Snowball's team, like I was looking at it the other day, and I was like, honestly genuinely surprised. I was like, this team looks like it could be doing pretty well, especially after the trade he made with me, where I got Adams and Montgomery, and he got Fournette, who since then has blown up. Hollywood's still on a hot streak, and I also sent him Chris Godwin, who's now back from injury and looks like he's going to be pretty involved. So I mean, his team's looking pretty solid. He's also got Kamara back from injury, so
Yeah, Kamara looked great last week, and then Kittle. I mean, if he actually ever plays well, his team will really could be pretty strong. Um, yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, the fact that Zach's team is under 500 points and is 3-1-1 is pretty crazy.
yeah.
But I think pretty much everyone's sort of in this little range. We've got two people at the bottom. The former champion, Carlos Stranger, likes to think he's the champion. Last place with Rob Matz, uh, who just required Nick Chubb in an interesting way. What do you think about these teams? Should they be really worried? Is it just, I think they could still come back. They don't have terrible teams, either one of them.
I think they could come back. I mean, obviously, I'm looking at Matt's team right now, and I think that he's got to make some changes for this week. Just looking at his roster, like you can't be playing Naeem Hines, who's going to be out this week more than likely, and Jonathan Taylor will also probably be back. Darren Waller's on bye. And then, honestly, at this point, I think you have to bench Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, just in general, it's just been crazy how bad quarterbacks have been this year. I'm just gonna pull up the total stats for the year. I think like boom fantasy points. I mean, Justin Fields is up here for some reason. Oh, this is available people. Um, but I mean, outside the top guys, it's been like I feel like, I mean, Aaron Rodgers 69 points, pretty crazy. I mean, it's kind of weird. Carson Wentz is a top 10 guy. Geno Smith's a top 10 guy. I don't think a lot of people expected this type of stuff. from it. So it's just been a really rough year unless you have one of the top four guys out of Mahomes, Hurts,
Yeah.
Jackson, and Allen. I feel like.
I'd throw Murray in there also. Actually, Murray's looked pretty solid as well, and
Murray's
he's
been
gonna have,
solid.
and he's gonna be having Hopkins come back next week, right?
Yeah, Hopkins is
Uh,
back next week.
yeah, Hopkins is back next week, and then on top of that, he's got a really nice schedule coming up too. After Hopkins gets back, it's New Orleans, which isn't great, but Minnesota, Seattle, both phenomenal to play right there, and he's got Seattle this week. So
Yeah, might be a gut right game, but it's Cardinals are a weird team. It's been a disappointing year, I think, just in general for them. Do we want to go over the trades now? Is there anything else you want to bring up from the standings?
I just we'll make two things on the teams that are at the top and the bottom. Who do you think finishes higher at the end of the year, Chris Gregg or Kuzi's team?
I've been pretty high on Kuzi's team pretty much all year, and I'm just going to stick by that. I just like his team. I mean, the trade's a little bit worrisome, but I mean, if Pitts ever turns it around, it's kind of a great trade. And if I feel like it can't get worse. I mean, I think the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be brutal for the Steelers. Just their schedule is just a gauntlet. But once they get some easier competition, and I think once Pickett gets into the offense a little bit more, I think Harris is going to be better. I can't see him being much worse. So, um, yeah, I like his team. What do you think? You think Kuzi or Greg?
I'm leaning towards Chris. I think getting Swift back will make a big difference to that running back side for him. I just think that he's got a. I also really like his bench, and I think he's just a little bit deeper, and I think that he'll be pretty. I think his team's looking pretty solid.
Yeah, having Henderson in now that Cam Akers I think got ruled out for this week is pretty good stuff, especially against a weak Panthers team. That's really, I mean, they're good against the pass on defense, but they're not very good against the run. So,
And then I was going to say, who do you have at the bottom?
I would probably just. I mean, I think Lestrange's team's probably worse, but just the activity of the owner, Rob Matz, has me a little bit worried, and you know, but I mean, I feel like if he just makes a couple moves, having Chubb and Eckler, it seems pretty difficult not to be better than what he is. So it's kind of a toss up. I'd probably just lean towards Rob just because how not as involved he is, but also I don't. I actually remember when Lestrange was drafting, he had a tough draft. So I mean, maybe Taysom Hill put some stuff up, but I'm pretty sure he got what was it, Kenny G, and then Connor's out now. Taylor's been playing not great, so it's tough. And Etienne's taken over the Jags role.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Connor because I think that he's just a better fantasy manager and will start the right players. But it'll be hard for Mats to finish last in the league with Eckler, Chubb, Metcalf, who's looked pretty solid as a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. You're gonna have Keenan Allen coming back from injury, and you have Hopkins.
Yeah, having Allen out is kind of tough. He doesn't have Hopkins though. That's he's got a kicker on the.
Oh, that's a kicker named
I got
Hopkins.
Hopkins. I'm pretty sure he got Hopkins in every league so far this year. Because I was just
Oh, that's not as glorious then. I really thought he was going to bring in Hopkins.
no,
But
I've got
yeah,
Hopkins. Next week,
I
I'm
see
making
that.
my comebacks. All right, so we had two big trades. One more recent. And we'll pull this one because it was a huge number of people moved. Kuzi and Zach, two guys at the top of the league, trading big time players over. You have Wilson, Herbert, Fryermuth, and Smith Schuster leaving Kuzi, and he gets back Cooper, Najee Harris, and Kyle Pitts. And you kind of were leaning towards Zach here. Why do you like Zach's side a little bit more?
I mean, it's kind of difficult with tight ends knowing that Pat Fryermuth is out with the concussion. He's had a ton in the last year and a half. But if he's healthy, I think this year I would lean towards Fryermuth on a game-to-game basis than Pitts because Atlanta's offense is we're going to run the ball every single play and we're not going to throw it. And if we are going to throw it, we're not going to throw it to Pitts. and it's very aggravating because I have Pitts in the Dynasty League, but it hurts. And then between Jeff Wilson and Najee, think I would go Jeff Wilson straight up. Just Najee does not look great this year. You're seeing Warner, I think it's his backup, getting more and more carries. Not that I think Warner's a better back. I just think Najee's actually still banged up from the foot injury. And then, as I think we said, like their schedule is like atrocious for like the next couple weeks. Mm-hmm. This week they have Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay has had the best run defense and for like the last 2 years combined. Next week's Miami, which isn't bad, but then it's Philly, bye week, New Orleans, Cincinnati, which are all tough. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I just think you're going to struggle with him in there for a while. And then the big win, I think, for Kuzi is getting Amari Cooper. I really think Cooper's going to be in that. Cooper's going to be what he's always been, which is like he's going to have top 12 weeks, and he's going to have games where he gets you 2 points. But at the end of the year, he'll be probably in the top 24, 22-ish area.
Yeah, I think that this is just like a long-term play for Kuzi, and I think it's a good move because he's already at 4-1, so he's in a good spot. Cooper, I feel like always plays well his first year with the team, and then it's downhill from there. Deshaun's going to come back week 12. I know it's a really long play, but he's already playing pretty well with Brissett, so it could be a maximize the play. And I think Pittsburgh, once they get through the gauntlet, Najee should have a better time. And, we talked about it, but I think that'll be a plus for Freiermuth, too, having a rookie QB. And I think Pitts, whenever Mariota gets benched, because it's going to happen soon because he's been so bad, I think, you're just crossing your fingers that Ritter, as a rookie quarterback, will throw to Kyle Pitts. I think this is just a good play. I mean, if you're Kuzi, you're 4-1. Say, hey, if I can just win a couple more games, I'm basically in the playoffs, and then hopefully these guys will bring me to the championship if they can turn it around at the end of the year. I mean, I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a long-term play on Kuzi's end because the immediate future is kind of worthless. I mean, Najee's going to be struggling. Pitts is not looking great, and Cooper's going to be able to be utilized right away. But Jeff Wilson has looked phenomenal so far this year.
Yeah, I think whoever's playing for the Niners at running back is going to look phenomenal just based on the way they do it.
And I will say on Zach's side, getting Juju Smith-Schuster, who just does not look like he has it anymore, and Khalil Herbert, those are just extra pieces that I think are kind of worthless to a roster almost.
I like Herbert. I love Herbert. I just think he's so good. I remember we were texting last night, and I was like, why isn't he the starting running back? Maybe it works out. But
he looks phenomenal, but whenever you look at the snap counts last night, Montgomery had 56 snaps on the field, and Herbert had, I think, 16 or 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not even a real committee. It's just it's Montgomery's backfield.
Yeah, it's weird, but maybe it'll work out maybe they figure it out and they give him the ball a little bit more. But yeah, I feel like it was like a pretty fair trade. It's just what you're kind of looking for, starting up and like long term. I knew that there was another trade, and I think this was weeks ago. Well, we have the Rob Matz Kuzi trade. I mean, do you want to bring that up?
Yeah, Rob Matz Kuzi trade. Rob Matz just got Nick Chubb for winning a bet, which I think is a great deal for Rob Matz and kind of saves his season.
Yeah, I didn't even see all this happening. I remember it just blew up. I got a new phone, so nothing was linked. And then all of a sudden I was like, what's going on with this? And I was like, oh my God, what the hell happened? So that was a weird one where I had to approve that trade. And I was like, how?
There's a couple other... Oh, wait. I just remember that there's an easier way to see this. If you scroll underneath all the standings and everything, you can click on all activity and just see the trades. So the other trades were between me and Snowball, where I got Devonte Adams and David Montgomery and gave
Ah,
him
yeah.
Leonard Fournette, Chris Godwin, and Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you were a fan of your own trade. I really like this one. I think it worked out pretty well for both teams, but I definitely liked your end. Just getting Devonte Adams is a huge play, and he's been playing well. I mean, I think last week he solidified your win over me, and he had a lot more points
Mhm.
than you really needed. Um, and I mean, Fournette, Godwin. I'm not huge on Hollywood Brown. I haven't been all year, but you know, once Hopkins comes back, Brown's value is not going to be as good. I think he'll still be decent, but then you also like dealing with two guys on Tampa Bay, struggling team. Godwin's not really all there. It feels like, and Fournette. I mean, I think Fournette's solid. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Fournette, so I feel like this is a pretty good trade. And Montgomery's a starter.
And then the other trade before that also happened was with me, and I acquired Chris Godwin and Damian Harris, who I eventually traded Chris Godwin to move up to Adams. But I sent out Christian Kirk, Chase Edmonds, and Rondale Moore.
Yeah, I think you only really lost Kirk. I mean, Edmonds hasn't really been doing that much. I feel like Moore, everyone always says is going to do something soon, and he really doesn't. I don't know why he's projected for so many points. I think this week is on ESPN at least. I saw he's projected for like 11 points or something like that. I was like, I don't buy that. I think we already talked about the Edwards Hilaire one.
Yeah, we did talk about that one.
Okay. Do we want to go over this week what we're looking at, or do you want to go into the Dynasty League?
Let's go ahead and hop into Dynasty.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see if were there any trades recently, because Dynasty is hard to follow, man.
There have not been any trades. I've been sending out some feelers. Not really heard anything back on any of them.
I think you sent me something, and I was like, no. Just there was like a lot of short-term people, a lot of giving up my future for short-term people, which
Hey,
I'm a beast now.
you're
So.
you're competing this year. That's why I was sending it over your way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. I think I'm lost 2 in a row. So yeah. Meanwhile, the expansion teams are struggling, but Owen got his first win. Meanwhile, Nick's struggling a little bit, but has
Nick
100 more
has
points.
100 more points than Owen.
Yeah, and he's in the
But no
stinker.
win yet.
Most points against. That's always tough.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the other side of the league is very competitive, but as we expected, Alex is by a lot.
Yeah,
Points.
Alex's team. It's really. I mean, it's tough to say anything bad about his team. Like you have the two just stud quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, he's throwing out Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry at running back every week.
Mm-hmm.
And then wide receivers, he's throwing out like Hollywood, Pittman, and then Waddle. And Adams. He has Devontae Adams also.
Yeah,
so
pretty insane.
His team's insane. I don't know how he got such a good team. I know he got Derrick Henry from a trade.
I thought he drafted him.
No, he got him from a trade with Connor. Connor traded him like a first-round pick for him.
Yeah, well, he just lucked out with the Jalen Hurts working out. I think it was just a huge.
Yeah.
Someone's just have to get a lucky day where one of those or both those quarterbacks don't have a crazy game, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Maybe this week. Maybe the Giants stop Lamar. I don't really see that happening. And then Dallas stops Hurts. I think
I'm playing him this week, so we'll see what I can do this week.
I want to see what the
I'm currently projected to win by 4 points, but he does not have a flex in yet.
Oh yeah, he's been mulling. He has a lot of buys this week. Is tough for him. This is the first like real big bye week, and the injuries are really kicking in. I'm assuming Dad's probably not setting his lineup only 100 points. Yeah, he's got Paul. Actually, no, I think he has. Yikes!
I think he probably does have his starting lineup set. He's
for 100 points. Yeah, no quarterback.
The lack of QBs really hurts him.
Yeah,
but I mean, outside of the QBs, he's looking pretty solid. He might need to pull. He has Pickett on his taxi squad, and he might need to pull Pickett out because Pickett is going to be the starter all year at this point.
Yeah, and he'll be playable once he gets through the gauntlet. So
Yeah,
probably the way
but
to go.
I
I'm
mean,
surprised he put him in the taxi and not Ritter. But I think
yeah,
a lot of people thought Ritter was going to start week 1 anyways. But it's tough.
yeah. But yeah, his team definitely it doesn't look that bad outside of the QB position. Like running James Robinson, Leonard Fournette, not bad at your running back spots. Mike Evans, Drake London, not bad as two good wide
And
receivers
Alec
in there.
Pierce. Pierce is
And
looking
Alec
good.
Pierce is looking good. He's led the
Gallup.
Colts in targets the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean his team long term could be really good, but he needs to figure out his quarterback. But I mean having Kenny Pickett's good. It's just
Yeah,
unfortunate. Bridgewater, was about to play, then got hurt. Cars on by, and Ritter still has yet to hit the field yet. So you're relying
yeah.
on Jacoby Brissett, who actually hasn't been that bad. Might be like on par with Russell Wilson.
But he also has on his bench, he has Brandon Cooks, who's on bye this week. He has St. Brown, who's on bye this week.
Oh, he is St.
Um,
Brown.
yeah, he does have St. Brown. And I mean, I would be ecstatic if I was him having St. Brown.
Yeah, he has both St. Browns.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I just looked. Brissett's the number 16 QB this year, and Russell's 17. So could outplay him this week, but he's playing New England, so I doubt it. But yeah, is any? I mean, Stein this year. I mean, he wasn't almost setting his lineup this year, and now he's 4-1. It's a pretty crazy surprise.
Yeah, Stein's team looks pretty good in
Like
this
my
league
butt.
also.
Yeah, and
Um,
then there's a lot of middling teams.
but the way I have it set up is if you win your division, you get a bye. So our division definitely has an easier path. I mean, I'm 2 games back. You're just a game back. Um,
Yeah, but I lost my tiebreaker. But I guess maybe I'll play him again.
the other side, it'll be tough for anyone to get by Alex's team.
Yeah, it's nice to be in the expansion division.
Yeah.
Almost
Hey, I
guaranteed.
did my best to make it so that whatever people put as their rivals were in their division. It just happened that those 5 wanted to play each other really bad.
Yeah, well, looks like it was a great decision by them because I'm liking this. 3-2, baby, I'll take it. Um, but now we're playing some cross divisions. I think this week. Yeah, I think everyone's
Yeah,
playing.
got some cross divisions. Um, I mean, I don't. Is there even a single in? Nope, not a single in
Yeah, it's
conference
all
one.
cross. I think that's the way they probably do it in this.
Actually, I had to manually go through and make the schedule.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so
Are
I
we gonna play
manually
three
went through
times?
and made the schedule.
You made the
Um,
schedule so that we play 3 times and twice in the first 3 weeks. God,
I wasn't. It took me way too long to do it just to get it so that we played all of our division mates twice.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So I get to play. I get a rematch with Stein again. I get to play Owen twice and Dad twice. It's
Yeah,
a
we
pretty
both
decent
get to
deal.
play Chad twice and Owen twice.
So we're in. You guys blew it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why
so
you don't recommend any rivals.
good chance that we end up making it. Yeah, I mean, whenever I went through the rivals, I think Alex put you down, but he also put Connor and Nick P down.
Yeah.
Chris put Connor and Chris down. Connor, I think, put Chris and Connor and Alex down. Like it was just all they put each other. So
Yeah, well, in 2 weeks, we're about to see the preview of the championship, I think. Me versus Alex. So we'll see how that goes.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a push for the second half of the season, even though my only wins are against expansion teams so far.
Oh, I beat you. I beat you both times. Ooh, that was a clunker. 113 to 103. Yeah, my team has not performed as well as before. Have not. I think I put up a shit ton. Yeah, 184, and now I don't think I've passed 130. 138 once. That's not bad. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a long season. Might lose to Connor this week, but That's okay. That's okay. Anything else you want to bring up? I have something else I can bring up at the end, but it's very
Last
short.
thing is just a reminder for Dynasty League. All trades have to be in by the end of week 9 for the season for it to count for this year. That is when the trade deadline is for the Dynasty League.
I have no idea what the other league is. I think it might be pretty early.
It's probably pretty late. Typically, it's later if there's no picks that are tradable.
Week 9. Same
Yeah.
idea. Okay. The only thing I have to say is Formula One blows dick. Don't care. Yeah. Anything else you want to bring up?
No, I'm good.
All right, guys. Have a good week, and hopefully we can get back on a regular schedule this time. And did we not stream the whole time again? We streamed. We streamed.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
streamed.
See ya.